Hi there, welcome. SportsCenter from the nation's capital. I'm Scott Van Pelt. We will have full post-game coverage of the New York Knicks' victory in Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the road in San Antonio. We will visit with Jalen Brunson, once again, the man of the moment. Jeremy Lin makes his debut in our studio here. Happy to have him with us. Our analyst from the floor in San Antonio as well. We got you covered wall to wall, and we begin with the game of the evening and how we got here. As we saw in the Stanley Cup final, the road team goes on the road and makes a statement. Early first quarter, the Spurs trailing 10-4. Josh Hart bullies his way to the bucket, and Victor Wembanyama not having any of that. They head back the other way. Big fella stops and buries the three. Defense on one end, and then offense on the other. New York still leading in a low-scoring start to this game. That's just a good scout. Cornette knows that Brunson's looking for the alley-oop. They defend that. And how about the youngster, Dylan Harper? Three the hard way. It's a 9-0 run from the Spurs. That was really the theme of this evening. They finished the first on a 20-5 run here. You see that Julian Champagnie, who starts red hot, hits the three. But New York's worried about Brunson as Harrison Barnes lands on that leg. He heads back to the locker room, but would head back to the bench and back into the game. It was 27-19 after one. It's now a 4-point game. Big body Brunson, the floater on Devin Vassell. And as he hits the deck here, kind of gets stepped on. He was looking for a foul call from Scott Foster. Didn't get one. It's a 1-point game here. Champagnie again. He was one of the many heroes on the road in Game 7 with 6 triples, and he's whooping as he heads back the other way. And then a beautiful feed from Fox with the left hand to the corner. All three of these. Champagnie had 5 first-half triples. It's a 7-point San Antonio lead. It's growing now into the third. And again, it's Harper. Oh, that's just silly from the young man. Just 20. 16 points, the most by a Spurs rookie in the franchise's history in the finals. Karl-Anthony Towns, though, was a monster on both ends of the floor. Gets the rebound and the putback, and now it's just a 2-point game. Then Brunson puts on the brakes, hits over Champagnie, who's born in New York City and, of course, played for St. John's. Now on the other end, it's Wemby. And as soon as he gets there, you know he can dunk, and he does. He beats Mitchell Robinson to the cup and has the length to get the dunk, and we're tied heading into the fourth. We're tied just about midway through the fourth, and then look, you see no Wembanyama on the floor. Brunson attacks with a left-hand float. Once again, where's one? Well, he's trailing the play. Again, it's Brunson to the cup, and the lead now grows to 6. On the other end, Champagnie way off in the second half. The lead is 6. Brunson doing what he does with the scoop. And the ability of the New York Bigs to get in the way of Wembanyama like a chip, if you will, like a running back, maybe trying to block a defensive end to keep Wembanyama away. A Wembanyama there, though, on the other end, gets the layup, and it's a 1-point game. They now lead by 1, and after New York got stuck on 94 seemingly forever, it's Brunson with the big three that gives them the lead. Now it's Wembanyama who slips and hits the deck. And the Spurs are stuck on 94 seemingly forever. And it's Brunson again working through, up and under Vassell. 13 in the fourth. It was not a great shooting night, but the box score doesn't tell the story. His impact on the most important moments of the game do. The Knicks by 10, 105-95, 12 straight dubs. We welcome the man of the moment to the Volkswagen post-game show. Jalen Brunson joins us. Jalen, Scott Van Pelt, thank you for the time, as always. Whether it's me or Lisa Salters or whomever, I realize we're talking to you. You still got sweat on your shoulders. The game just ended, and I'm asking you to describe things that maybe are hard to describe. But here's what I'm asking you. Can you explain to me the level of comfort that you seem to find in the moments that matter the most, when you seem to be unbothered by whatever the circumstance is and are able to deliver what has to be delivered?
Yeah, I'm just finding a way. Obviously, throughout the game wasn't my best, but through thick and thin, I trust my work, trust everything I do, and I stay confident in those moments.
It seemed, you tell me, but it seemed that both sides at times, like a fight. It felt like there were levels of exhaustion and what seemed to me from a long way away to be an awfully physical game. Is that a fair way to describe what you experienced out there?
I mean, it was two teams just going at it. I mean,
yeah,
this is the end of the road, and everyone's going to give it their all. Everyone's going to find a way. So, I mean, we're expecting them to play their best because that's what they've been doing all year. So, regardless of the situation, we're going to come ready to play.
So it's runs back and forth. They're up 14, then you tie it. You're up 8, then they go on a 9-0 run. Now you're down. I mean, in those moments, the calm and the resolve of your group has been tested quite a bit during this 12-game winning streak. But your ability to find the way, as you always say, how much belief does that create within the entire group, Jalen, not just you, but within everyone, that we will find a way to get another one?
I mean, it's been our motto. I mean, no matter what's going on, we're always going to try to find a way. We're going to learn from what we did tonight because obviously it wasn't our best game. There's a lot of things we can improve on, but you got to be ready to go for game 2 for sure.
Yeah, your podcast mate, Josh Hart, I asked Tim Legler about it. He had 3 points, so, okay, he didn't do a lot. What he gave your team in terms of rebounds, points, and steals is insane. What kind of impact was he able to have and the ability to seemingly grab every rebound that mattered?
I mean, that's the man I've known since college. When he gets a little chip on the shoulder, when he gets mad, he finds a way to get every board. He's going to impact the game somehow, some way. That's just who he is.
I know it's the end of the road. I know everybody's got bumps and bruises. You look like the ankle got stepped on, the knee got bumped into. You said at least I'll be fine, but like 1 to 10, what kind of pain are we in right now?
I'll be good to go.
There you go. You didn't answer the question, but I had to ask you. You know how that works. All right, Jalen, I appreciate the time tonight. Good luck Friday, okay?
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
It's 12 consecutive victories in the playoffs for New York, 7 of them on the road. They're the 3rd team in NBA history to do that in a single postseason. Last loss, by the way, day 1 of the NFL draft, which feels like it was, I don't know, a year ago. The previous 2 teams both won a title. Warriors in 17, Steph and KD. They were a win away from an undefeated postseason. The 99 Spurs, who knocked off the Knicks in the finals. It's a pleasure to welcome Jeremy Lin to the set, a champion with Toronto, a man that had a memorable time in New York, as everyone is well aware. And I laughed with you as you and I sat and watched this game, and I explained, we're going to take notes for 4 quarters. We're going to have all this really good stuff. Then we're going to sit on the set, and 95% of it is not going to be what we talk about, and that is exactly what happened. Let's just start at the end and work our way wherever you want to go. New York's ability in a game of runs where Brunson wasn't great to find the victory. What to your mind, was most important about how they did it and most impressive?
I mean, let's start with the obvious, Captain Clutch. Brunson, when it comes time to it, just the ability to take over a game, his killer mentality, that is one portion. The part that I am just blown away at is Cat's defense. Cat's defense on Wemby. Of course, he has 18 and 12, and he imposes his will on the offensive side. But his defense on Wemby was what was so impressive. He made it very difficult for him all night. Wemby really struggled from the field. And then I got to give love to Josh Hart. Like you said, 3 points, but to lead the Knicks in rebounds, assists, steals, plus minus, to do all of that with taking only 5 shots. He is, in many ways, to me, the heart and soul of the Knicks, and putting those 3 together.
And one of the subplots that came out of the Spurs-Thunder series was Chet, particularly in that last game where he only took 2 shots, didn't shoot the last 31 minutes, and just looked shook, frankly. Karl Anthony Towns is going to test Wembanyama on both ends of the floor in ways he really hasn't necessarily been, or at least wasn't in that last series. How much is that going to be something that we'll get to adjustments later? But how much do you think is that something that notably bothered Wembanyama tonight?
So I think that's the key to the series is Cat. I think Cat's ability to shoot and shoot from deep with a quicker release than Chet. Early in the first quarter, you see he just is driving downhill right at Wemby, just taking it to him. And then defensively down the stretch, Wemby seemed tired. He seemed exhausted to the point where in the second half they had to switch defensive coverages so Wemby wasn't guarding the pick and roll all the time. And that is something in the fourth quarter that it wears on him. And Wemby just started to ISO and couldn't score on Cat.
Always do the same thing you guys would do after a game and look at the box score. My eyes are drawn to 6 for 21 from Wembanyama in this one. And look, they expelled a great deal of mental and physical energy in beating the reigning champs on their home floor. And now on this night, they dropped the opener to New York. Wembanyama afterwards with his thoughts on what they got to get right heading into game 2.
It's almost not like I have anything to figure out. It's almost like I have to play normal, not even good. It's like just doing the right things is enough. It's when we play bad, when I play bad, it's when we shoot ourselves in the foot. This is why I'm not worried. We're going to be so much better. I'm going to be so much better.
That seems reasonable, right? I mean, if you 6 for 21, that's not a normal night for him by any stretch of the imagination. And when he was on, it was April, Jeremy, and I asked him, like, the one thing you guys haven't done has been in the playoffs, and he said, hey, screw it, we haven't. Well, now they're in the finals, so it's not new to them. But maybe the emotion and the moment tonight is new, right? Because it is the finals. You're 4 away. I wonder if that impacted this team as you watched it. Is that something that perhaps was part of this evening?
I think it's something that they've done a great job of leaning into. Like, it's actually a strength that we don't have the experience, and you hear them talk about different quotes, and they have this blank slate of what is possible. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it is the finals. There is a different level of spotlight. There is a different level of criticism. And on top of that, they went 7 games in a grueling series.
No question. And New York's been rolling through everybody like a hot knife through butter.
New York is rested. They're number 1 in points per game, number 1 in points in the paint, number 1 in pace, number 1 in transition. This is amongst all teams in the playoffs. And so this is a fast-paced team, and the Spurs are going to be fatigued.
All right, we're going to get to adjustments later, but just one quick one that I do want to get from the card to the people, and that's the way that New York off switches with Karl-Anthony Towns, something for folks to keep an eye on, how that can lead to a mismatch, whether it's on a shot or through offensive rebounds. I thought that was important.
Yeah, they're doing this peel. The Spurs are doing a peel where if Jalen Brunson breaks the three-point line, the guard who's guarding Brunson peels off to Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns did a great job of just getting into the paint, trying to get offensive rebounds, and that's, the biggest difference in the game, if you look at the advanced stats, was second chance points, a big, large part due to Cat.
Yeah, he had a dozen rebounds, 4 offensive, and it's just off those mismatches. I found it fascinating what you pointed out to me, because off the guard, maybe he's not shooting over the guard, but now he's able to get a rebound over the guard, and that's part of that switch and peel and whatever. It's just this man knows a lot about the game. I'm trying to share it with you, and most of what was on the card, we just chucked out the window. All right, we'll talk adjustments because that's something that people are always interested a little bit later in the program, all right?
I appreciate it, Scott.
Right, we're going to get our money's worth from Jeremy. Vegas started the Stanley Cup final with a road win. The New York Knicks answer in kind on Wednesday in San Antonio as they push their postseason win streak to 12 games. Their first finals win since the '99 finals. Their 4th finals game 1 win in franchise history. The previous 3 all came against the Lakers. The last was back in '72. New York now has 7 consecutive victories away from MSG, which is tied for the second longest road winning streak in a single playoff run in the history of the NBA. They're 1 shy of tying Shaq and Kobe's 2001 Lakers, who won their 2nd of 3 in a row. Mike Brown's squad improves to 4-0 in Game 1 this postseason. First time they've done so in franchise history. They've won their last 5 playoff series after winning Game 1 on the road, dating back to '99. Pleasure to welcome Michael Wilbon and Stephen A. Smith to the program. Stephen A., I'm going to let you go second and empty the clip on New York. We're going to give the elder statesman of our group here, Michael Wilbon, a veteran of so many NBA finals, the first word on what we saw tonight. New York's ability to withstand the runs and a game of runs, and their ability to get the ball in the hands of the man who delivers when it matters most, Brunson. That's what the headline will be. To your mind, what was most important about the manner in which they won?
Brunson, and more Brunson. Scott, and you just talked to him, and it was amazing sitting here watching him just carry them home. After, early in the game, he goes back to the locker room. He limps off the floor reluctantly, comes back to the bench, is on the bench for a while, and you don't know if he can go. And I think you guys talked about sort of the feeling of a heavyweight fight. It was. And for Brunson, it was like he has to take a standing 8 count. What can the Knicks do without Brunson if they have to go without him? And I'm sitting next to Mr. New York over here, who Stephen A. won't admit it now, Scott, but he was damn nervous in real time. And you want to see the best players in the world, and particularly the 2 best players in this series, Brunson and Wemby, go and be healthy and go through this series as hard and as long as they can go. But in that moment, you don't know if Brunson can go, and he delivers again. He looks like the most clutch player in the league because it's what he is.
Hollis, Queens in the building. New York City in the building. Stephen A. Smith. You can't win the fight. You can't win the fight in the first round, but you can make a statement in the first round and grab another victory, 12 in a row, 7 in a row on the road. This New York Knicks team that you're watching, what impresses you most about them?
The guts, the grit, the kind of thing that we thought was gone when Tom Thibodeau walked out the door and we watched them for the first 75% of this season. We didn't know if we were going to see it come playoff time, but absolutely they stepped up. And tonight was the latest example of what happened. They were up by 7, 14-7. San Antonio closes the first quarter going on a 20-5 run. They looked like they could handle the New York Knicks, but the New York Knicks just wouldn't go away. Bumps into, Mikal Bridges or whoever it was, goes into Brunson's knee. His knee's hurting. He's got to go out of the game. He's got to go to the locker room. He comes back. He gets his ankle stepped on. He won't come out the game. He's still there. You got Josh Hart, can't get a shot, but he got 15 rebounds. You got Karl Anthony Towns saying Wemby's the biggest dude, the tallest dude on the court, but I'm going to take advantage of all these other little guys y'all got the nerve to put on me. I saw OG Anunoby. All of a sudden, he couldn't find a shot, and the next thing you know, he hits 2 big-time threes. And then when it's time to close, okay, after you had a 14-point deficit, after you come back from that, then all of a sudden you give the ball to Jalen Brunson, and what does he do? What he always does. He closes for you. This is what I'm talking about. We were looking to see if we were going to see this from the New York Knicks because we saw it against Philly. We saw it against Cleveland. We knew neither team measured up to the San Antonio Spurs. Could you do it in Game 1 of the Finals on the road? And that's what the Knicks did. So anything that the New York Knicks fans believed about the Knicks coming into this series was validated in Game 1 tonight. And that's why I'm excited. Not too much. I got to hold it back. You got 3 more to go. But this is how it's
holding back,
and that's
Scott.
what I'm talking about.
This is holding back, right?
Michael, I'm going to give you.
I got to hose him down.
The final word, Michael. Are you mentally prepared for what you will deal with if 3 more wins come for the man next to you? Are you mentally prepared for that?
Scott, because we're in the same building all the time.
Exactly.
I got Stephen A. at this level and Tony and Kornheiser. I'm surrounded by New Yorkers that I love and work with, but it's a bit much. Yeah. But, look, there is a long way to go in this series. But I will say this. The Knicks to come on the road and do this, I did say I want to pat myself in the back. I said they will be down between 4 and 11 points at some point. They got to play the rust off. They did that. They played the rust off. And so, to me, they start in Game 2 not just in a much better place from being up 1-0, but from the way they'll feel about themselves and their game. And it's up to San Antonio to do what they've done multiple times already, which is respond. The Spurs have been good at that.
Scott,
yeah,
I'm going to be calm and say this.
All right.
The New York Knicks won. Josh Hart didn't shoot the ball well. OG there wasn't particularly great. Mikal Bridges wasn't particularly great shooting the ball. And they won anyway. We will be calm.
There we go.
But it's 3 to go, baby.
Understood. First to 4. First to 4. Fellas, I appreciate the time. We'll talk again. If not Friday, I'll see you in New York City come Monday for Game 3. I appreciate you. All right, thank you.
Sounds good, Scott.
Stephen
Thank you.
3 to go, Stephen A. Still plenty more to come after the Knicks take Game 1. Tim Legler, Brian Windhorst will join us from the floor in San Antonio with their perspective on New York's victory. Also, Jeremy Lin back with us in studio, and that is next on SportsCenter. You know what they're saying in the big city. Go New York, go New York, go. They are off to a winning start in the 26 finals. And the man of the moment, as he has been so often, Jalen Brunson. The box score doesn't tell the story. What he did in the fourth does, rattling off 8 consecutive points for the Knicks, which pushes them to an 8-point lead. They trail by 14, by the way, in the second here. OG Anunoby with a miss, and it's Brunson who knocks it out to Bridges. Back to Brunson in the corner, and that whole Spurs bench knew this is the wrong guy to be nude in the corner because he might just bury it. He does. New York back in front. The Spurs could not dent the scoreboard on the other end. Then Brunson steps under Vassell. That pushes him to 30, and the Knicks roar back to grab a 10-point victory. They're now 6-0 this postseason when Brunson scores 30 or more. Mike Brown with thoughts on his do-everything guard.
He's a gamer, man. He you know, in the biggest moments, you know, he shows up. And that's what MVPs are supposed to do. We put the ball in his hands. We said we were going to live and die with him. And he went and he got it done for us. And that's happened time after time after time after time. He got to his spots, and he made plays.
Tim Legler joins us now from courtside in San Antonio on a night, Tim, where at times each side looked exhausted. The level of physicality was high. The night for the box score perspective of Jalen Brunson might not have been great. But when the game was there to be won, number 11 for New York made the winning plays. How do you describe his ability to play his best when the best is required?
I said on the broadcast I've run out of adjectives for the guy in these moments, so I'll do my best. What it comes down to is just a certainty that he has that most players don't have. He's one of the rare players that under those circumstances, everything narrows for him. His focus narrows, his ability, I think because he's a more of a grounded player. He's not a player prone, you know, to playing vertical or playing, you know, supersonic speed downhill. He's going to be under control, on balance, use his strength, his craftiness, his touch to get what he wants, and he controls those possessions, really, I think, unlike any other player in the league. So, yes, 12 for 31, not the kind of night he wanted to have. None of it matters because he got to his number, and most importantly, when that time in the game came to end it and deliver and to control it, Jalen Brunson was the guy that separated himself from everybody else on the floor.
Speaking of numbers, if I look at Josh Hart, I could say, well, he scored 3 points. That's not a lot. But my gosh, Legs, he's plus 22, best in the game, 15 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals. When New York measures how they won this game, and I'm going to get to Karl Anthony Towns and that defense in a minute, but I'm thinking that Josh Hart gets a whole lot of love in that room for what he did tonight.
It's hard to quantify the amount of energy that Josh Hart expended in this game. I mean, it's defensively, you get it every night. You know he's going to be on the floor first for any ball that's in his area on the 50-50 plays. His rebounding at his size in this league, and this has gone on for a number of years, it's elite, and it gives your defense an element of controlling the end of possessions most teams just don't have from guys that size. He has a nose for the ball. Most importantly, he has a lot of want to, because that's really what it comes down to. Are you willing to go after every one of them? Because you're not going to get most of them. And that means you've got a 94-foot run to the other end of the floor. Most guys don't want to do it. Josh Hart rarely stays at the three-point line when a shot is taken from the other side of the floor and jogs back on defense, unless it's clearly his coverage back. He attacks the rim on every one of those. Almost nobody in this league, Scott's going to expend that kind of energy because the work required to get back is just too much for most people, not for Josh Hart.
When it comes to Karl Anthony Towns, so much has been made of putting the ball in his hands and how the offense can run through him, and he did a lot right on that end tonight. But what did he do best to bother Wembanyama on the other end of the floor?
He just affected him. His size was a factor against Wembanyama, and the most important thing, Scott, he was able to play him without fouling him. You know, he had one silly foul on a reach when Wembanyama spun near the rim. The rest of it was these closeouts where Wemby gets you, and Karl Anthony Towns is prone to that against any player. He was not picking up those cheap fouls. He was squaring him up under control and then using his strength against him on those drives, because that's where Cat has an advantage against him with his size and strength. And it came to fruition in a big way in this game. He was sensational.
I'm going to say this just once, and you know I mean it. It's so cool to see you level up. You and I used to sit here and do this face-to-face, and now you're on the call of the finals, brother, and I couldn't be happier about that. I look forward to seeing you in person in New York when we get there, and we'll talk again Friday night, all right?
Appreciate you. Can't wait to see the whole gang.
As you might surmise, the Knicks, who entered Game 1 as a plus 155 underdog for the series, are now a minus 140 favorite to win the title. But this is a note Stanford Steve brought to our attention. Each of the last 3 teams to win Game 1 of the finals on the road has lost the series. The last team to win in that scenario more than 20 years ago, the Detroit Pistons. Jeremy Lin is back. We love to talk about adjustments. I'm looking at the box score. Is Jalen Brunson going to go 12 for 31 in the next game? I doubt it. Is Victor Wembanyama going to go 6 for 21? I doubt it. Are the Spurs going to be 25% from 3 in Game 2? I doubt it. Point being, things change. But the teams are going to try to impact change from the Spurs' perspective because they lost on their home floor. What would be their focus, do you think, in terms of doing something different on Friday night?
The focus for sure is the second half where they were minus 17. But specifically, even in the fourth quarter, I didn't love the late game offensive game plan.
Meaning what?
It was too much Wemby ISO. It just seemed like everything was difficult, everything was hard, everything was contested. Can we get him in more spontaneous, impulsive actions? Can we get him in some pin downs? Can he set more screens? Can guards come set screens for him? It felt like every time down the floor, they were giving him the ball, and Cat was doing a great job of playing defense, and Wemby was tired. So how are they able to create different actions so that the Knicks aren't seeing the same thing every single time? Another piece that's really important is Keldon Johnson, who played only 8 minutes, 6th man of the year. A lot of minutes went to Harrison Barnes. I'm not sure what's happening there, but there is going to be a different level of production that needs to be had from other players stepping in. Dylan Harper, obviously an amazing game, but we need the Keldon Johnsons and obviously De'Aaron Fox to be able to step up. But I do think there's a lot to be said for in terms of how big that moment was for the Spurs.
Fox had the lion's share of the minutes in the fourth, and Harper, who led the team in scoring up until that point, through 3 quarters, didn't play a ton in the fourth. Would you want to see more minutes from the 20-year-old who's really burst onto the scene in the postseason?
He is so poised. He plays far beyond his age. And to me, it's not necessarily Fox or Harper.
I see.
It could be both. And obviously you need Castle on the floor, but does Vassell or Champagny, do they get a quick break or a quick rest? I do think Harper can play a little bit more. But the biggest thing more than anything is to be able to change up the way that they're going to attack. That's the biggest thing is the play calls, all of that can't be so dry, can't be so monotonous.
Understood. Great perspective there in New York. I don't know they want to change anything up. They're 1-12 in a row, 7 in a row on the road. They would never admit it, but they've done what they wanted to do. They've grabbed home court by stealing it with the victory in Game 1. You'll be with us for Game 3 on Friday as well?
I will.
My man. Or Game 2. Game 2 is Friday. Game 3 is in New York. I'm ahead of myself. Look forward to seeing you.
Brunson drives, pulls up jumper, tie game. Right now, both teams answering the call with big-time shot making. Brunson driving, layup, shot is good. A Brunson barrage here in the fourth quarter. Wemby with the 3, nails it. Drives on Towns, goes inside, layup, he banks it in, and a foul. Back to Brunson, corner 3 is up, bang, from downtown. And the Knicks take a 2-point lead. Brunson underneath, puts it up, puts it in. 12 consecutive wins for the Knicks as they take Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Brian Windhorst joins us following a Knicks road victory, which continues their winning streak. And Brian, much of our conversation on the program to this point has been through the lens of New York, with good reason. But I want to start with you with San Antonio. It's something you and I talked about in advance of the series, and that's San Antonio and the amount of energy they expended, both mental and physical, to defeat OKC. How did that show itself in this night, in your estimation?
Yeah, I mean, he might deny it, but I felt Victor Wembanyama was low on energy from the first quarter. Now, I know the game started out frenetic. I know when the stakes are high, you sometimes see players need their second wind. I saw Victor bending over and grabbing his shorts midway through the first quarter, and I didn't think he was able to maintain a good energy flow for most of the game. Now, he did summon it a little in the fourth, and it was almost enough. I thought I was coming here saying I didn't think he had enough energy, and he pulled it together in the end because he was almost their hero. But when you can tell, Scott, is not the plays that he makes, it's the plays that he doesn't make. When he's not able to close across the lane, when he's not jumping and contesting shots. And I think Brunson smelled it. Brunson's never going to say that, but I think Brunson smelled it down the stretch that he was moving quicker than Victor. And that's going to be something to monitor. In the last series, I felt it went up and down. So he could just as easily come out Friday and have that more of a burst. But this is something that I think is going to be a story in this series. What is Victor's energy level?
I was interested in that fourth quarter, some numbers. De'Aaron Fox didn't score, had a couple of turnovers, played 11 minutes. And their leading scorer through 3 was Dylan Harper, and he didn't play a ton in the fourth. And look, Fox has been an all-star, all right? But Harper, at only 20, has announced himself emphatically this postseason. I felt like it had an impact, perhaps. Did you? I see you nodding your head. You feel the same?
Yeah. What do you do if you're Mitch Johnson? It's the first game, first finals game of Dylan Harper's career. If you look at the second half, Fox played 20 minutes and was ineffective. Harper played 11 minutes and was better on offense. He didn't play great in the second half. He was awesome in the first half, but they needed some spark down the stretch. How do you take out your max player,
I get it.
Franchise point guard? I get it. It's tough, but that 20-11 differential, 20 minutes for Fox, 11 for Harper. Mitch Johnson may have to take a look at that. Also, if you're micromanaging Mitch in this game, Julian Champagnie was awesome in the first half, couldn't miss, and he's got Harrison Barnes out there for stretches in that second half when it could have been Champagnie. Now, he knows his team 1,000 times better than I do. He may have had a good reason for that, but playing those two decisions on the rotation, he might think about going into game 2.
I'd push back on the Champagnie. Brian, in the second half, I felt like he pulled and missed everything but the side of the backboard about 3 or 4 times. Like, he was 5 of 6 in the first half, and he was so good in Game 7. They don't win without him and the 6 he made there. But I don't know. Champagnie looked like he just couldn't find the bucket in the second half. When push comes to shove, the guy that makes the baskets on a 12 for 30 night is Jalen Brunson. At some point, their ability to win blowout games is one thing, but to win a game like this on the road against San Antonio, to grab home court, man, it speaks to what you and I spoke to last night. Why are they underdogs in this series? What most impressed you about New York?
Well, I thought Mike Brown, he put them in position to win. He brought Brunson in the game as Victor Wembanyama went out for his last rest. Brunson destroyed Luke Kornet in the second half of this game. He just destroyed him. As soon as he saw Kornet in the game, he attacked. It was so bad in the fourth quarter that he rushed Wembanyama back to the bench, back to the table to get him back on the court. I thought Brunson moderated his aggression when he was able to do so. And then when he felt that Victor maybe wasn't moving well, he attacked him. And I thought that the Knicks game plan at the other end was also effective. They were slapping at that ball. He had Towns on him to have the length. They were defending against the drive. And when he started going downhill, they started slapping against the ball. 6 turnovers for him. I think you may see Wembanyama in game 2 look for post-ups more because the perimeter, putting the ball on the court, didn't work. I thought it was a very good game plan from Mike Brown, very well executed by Towns and Brunson, and you saw the poise of the veteran players, specifically Brunson, obviously, in the fourth quarter. Captain clutch for a reason.
I'm glad you mentioned Towns. I feel like at the end of these shows, I hyper-focus on so many things. Karl Anthony Towns, 18 and 12, and the defense he played on Wembanyama in the fourth was spectacular. The Knicks continue winning, and they grab, not control, but they land the first punch in this final series. Brian, we'll talk again Friday night, and I'll see you in the city on Monday, all right?
Settle in, Scott. I think we're in for a long haul here.
Fine by me. More on Karl Anthony Towns, who visited with the fellows on Inside the NBA after this victory. His mom, Jacqueline, passed away from complications due to COVID in 2020. And on this night, the first night of the NBA Finals, in a game where he was great, he told the guys he felt his mom's presence throughout.
I don't know what it was, but I just felt a calm and a peace that, I don't know, had to come from the woman above. So I felt really confident about today. I felt good. I felt like a kid. It felt like it was just fun out here. This is something that as a kid you always dream about. In a way, I felt like I was seeing her in the stands, and it was fun. It was really fun, and it was really comforting. It felt like a certain presence was here that was very comforting and very loving, and I felt like I could have fun out here in Game 1 of NBA Finals, which is the weirdest thing.
Weirdest thing, but really a beautiful thing. Anyone out there who's lost a parent, particularly if you lose them young, and I did, maybe you can relate to the idea. When my dad died, I just would wish I'd see him in a dream. You know what I'm saying? Just to see him again. And now I'm an old man, and I still have that dream, just to think, I wish I could see him. And so if Karl Anthony Towns, in the first game of the NBA Finals, where he plays brilliantly, feels his mom's presence and feels like he sees her in the stands. I don't know. I just find that to be a beautiful sentiment on a night where Jacqueline's son was great and the Knicks get the victory. We've spent most of